Morning, good morning. It's turn this on. It's 3:03 a.m. I'm on my way to my favorite destination at 3:03 a.m. in the morning, which is the gym. I share some with you, and I'm gonna try to keep this as brief as possible because, well, quite frankly, time is a very precious commodity. You have to learn how to start preserving that commodity. One way you can preserve it and maximize is by stop procrastinating. See, the only thing standing between anyone and what they want is fear. That's it. Because if there was a piece of cake out on the table and everybody else had relinquished any rights to it and you still wanted it, what would stop you from getting that piece of cake? I mean, if you weren't exercising some type of diet or some type of will plan, there's really no reason that you would deny yourself this luxury. And the same thing applies with what you want out of life. But most people spend so much time fearful. I get it. I'm not saying I'm above that. I just keep enough tools in my arsenal to know when it's coming at me. And it's hard for somebody who's not educated. See, and when I say educated, I have every right to say that because I'm not educated in a formal sense of school. But I'm educated in the sense of self-taught. And I've always put myself in the right position around the right people. But wasting time, something you can't get back, that will keep ticking no matter if you're going after what it is that you want or you're not, is inexcusable. Not when it's simply fear that's standing between you and what you want. Doesn't mean that it's going to happen overnight. It's not what I'm saying. It's not going to happen overnight. It probably won't happen over a week. It probably won't happen over a year. But the persistent person ends up moving to a position where fear is no longer an issue. At certain levels, it will. At certain levels, it will. The higher you go up, it will. But you can ultimately beat fear. You can become fearless with discipline, self-discipline. I was standing in the mirror and I was shaving my head today. And I was imagining myself having a conversation with somebody. And the person said, and I was telling them about, not watching pornography or not eating certain things and not cussing. That's one of the things that I've made as a discipline. I'm not saying I'm not going to slip up, but not cussing. And I imagine the person saying, "Wow, you're so disciplined. How do you do it?" And then sitting there thinking, how do you live your life without it? See, it's going to take some time to get to where you want to go, whether it's that week, month, year, 2 years, 3 years. But let me explain something to you, what's happening as you're doing that. You're developing a system of habits that become unbreakable. So that time you spent that work you put in when you thought nothing was happening, you were developing the skills and the techniques to handle and deal with the responsibility you were asking for. Does that make sense? So don't take for granted that just because it hasn't happened in a week, in a month, in a year, that absolutely nothing is happening. That's the exact opposite. But some people are so scared of being told no that there's not enough fear that they're wasting time by not asking the question. And then by the time they turn around and look at it, not only did they waste time, not only did they not ask the question, but they didn't get any closer to what it is that they wanted. Gonna have to start developing the processes and the steps to overcoming what's holding you back. Because what other option do you have? Live in fear? That sucks. That sucks. I imagine myself getting to a point where I look around and I can't even understand why somebody would deny themselves to live the type of life that they want to live. I must have sat down, and before I started my day, I dropped my kids off to I call it love care, and then school, and then I get my day started. But I must have sat down, and I went to I went somewhere for breakfast, and I ordered a muffin, like some type of muffin, I don't know. And I was undoing the muffin. I like honey, so I put honey on it, and I was sitting there. And I had no idea about what I was going to start with or get to. And I just started smiling because I had just dropped my kids off. And I'm sitting here in this beautiful day. I was able to buy a muffin. And now I get to just sit and let the Spirit come to me and give me some encouragement into what direction I wanted to get busy in. And trust me, if you think about it long enough, an answer will come to you. But I think back when I was in a prison cell and I couldn't break loose of that. Or when I was in some type of gambling debt and I couldn't afford to buy anything. Or when I was out on the streets and I smelt the food from the restaurant cooking, but I didn't have no money to go in there and get anything. You can beat fear. You just got to put it up on trial, and you got to bring charges against it and bring it to conviction. It's possible. If you could only just stop being your worst enemy.